You guys have heard of cribs? What about a cribs version of a food truck? Let's go.
What's up, guys? Come on in. Yeah, so we got a custom TMG trailer, 8.5 by 22 foot concession trailer. This is my cutting block, low boy, 3-well steam well, kind of like a catch-all station. 48-inch griddle top, you know all about that. You got a 6-range burner, an oven. We got a sandwich cooler right here. You got 2 Metro warmers. That side's always full of meat. This side's always full of sides. 3-compartment sink. And that's what we got.
Now this right here brings back the memories. This is really where it started. Commercial, stainless, grease trap in the front. It's where I got my my lessons taught to me at an early age in the Navy. The difference is this is about half the size of our original griddle. We had a very, very, very large griddle. Different location, different idea. I suck at making tortillas. I've got a friend that we've become friends with about 1.5 years ago. His name is Marcus Stokely with Well Station Barbecue in Knoxville, Tennessee. Highly recommend checking him out. Damn good barbecue. It is. It's really good. The sides, you kind of like really get into the sides. Has a fantastic culinary background, so I think we relate on that edge. I've reached out to him probably like the last year because I know he makes homemade beef tallow tortillas. I said, Marcus, you got to get me on board. He's like, no, you're not ready yet. Like, you're down here. You need to get up here. Today's that day. So, Marcus, I'm going to let you take over a little bit about yourself and how to school me on some fantastic tortillas.
Cool. Like you said, my name is Marcus Stokely. I own Well Station Barbecue. My background is actually fine dining, so I like to bring the chefy side to old school barbecue. Neil reached out about how to make beef fat tortillas. I gave him a recipe. I was like, hey bro, just do this. Look for these keys. Still having trouble, so we're here today and we're going to make it happen. So tortillas are pretty simple. Beef fat. So we got beef tallow. I render from brisket, flour, salt, and you can add baking powder, but you don't have to. It's definitely adds the lightness in tortillas. So let's go ahead and get that together. Alright, so we have all the ingredients meased out. I use 2 different flours. Some people use all-purpose, which is 100% fine, but I do all-purpose and bread. Bread flour has a little bit more protein and gluten. So we'll add that flour in first. Yep, then we have baking powder, and I use iodized salt. I don't use kosher salt. I find that the iodized salt just mixes in a little bit better, and I can taste the salt. Then we'll add the beef fat.
Not melted?
Nope, this is room temp. You want it kind of like soft butter.
Okay.
And so we kind of just use our hand, just gloop it together. I'm looking for like a wet sand texture. If you have kids and you know what kinetic sand is, I'm kind of shooting for that. So we just kind of mix this here until we get to that texture.
This recipe will be listed in the description below, the exact recipe of how he's making it. So don't fret, I'm learning too. I've already known that I've messed up already because I've already added the hot water.
Yep, you want to keep mixing it. You can see like there's quite a bit of dry flour over here, so I'll mix it in and get some of that beef fat to pick up. And we're starting to get clump like that. That's what the texture I'm kind of looking for, like wet sand. And the key with the water is you want the hottest tap water you can get. It doesn't have to be boiling. It doesn't have to scald your hand, but as hot as you can handle is key with flour tortillas or masa actually as well. Now we'll add the hot water. Whenever you make dough, always leave a little bit behind because depending where you're at, elevation is different, precipitation is different, your kitchen humidity is different. You can make this in a KitchenAid mixer, you can make it in a Robo Coupe or food processor, but I always feel if you make with your hand, you understand what it's supposed to be like a lot better. And plus, I'm old school. I like making things old school anyways.
I think we say it's one of God's greatest gifts is a 5-fingered mixing tool.
Yep. And we're just going to keep mixing like this for about 3 to 5 minutes. Alright, so after I mix it for about 3 to 5 minutes, I go ahead and shape into my dough balls. I do not rest at this stage after the big, like usual bread, you mix, you bulk ferment, or bulk rest. We don't have to do that right now. So I go ahead and shape it, and I shape these into 55-gram dough balls. Look at that, perfect first time.
I bet that thing's automatically set on 55. It don't matter what you put on it.
But 55 grams turned out to be about 7-ish inch tortillas, which is perfect for me as I do a whole slice of brisket on mine. If you want them smaller tortillas, like a street taco size, I probably would do anywhere from 35 to 40 grams.
Burrito size, obviously, you just go up. So if that's 755, you'd probably go, what, 80 or 90 grams?
Yeah, burrito size, I probably, 80 to 90. And this dough is pretty soft, like especially using that hot water. Now that we got them all measured out, we're going to shape them into our dough balls. So I like to do the rolling method like this. I'm just cupping my hand like a C. And it's definitely a feel thing, and just turns into a little ball. You can also just do it by hand, just fold it underneath itself. I think this one for me is harder. And you push it through.
If you do the rolling ball, you've really got to have it like grab a hold. If you notice that your board is too floury, or a lot of times cutting boards or certain textures won't grab the dough as much, and it makes it a lot more difficult. So that folding technique.
But once you get the rolling down, you can do both hands. So you can.
That's what I like to see. That's what Amy likes to see.
You can get through it real quick. I can do this all day. Just wait till the next one. Just wait till my next key point here. Alright, so the next key step is to get a little bit of tallow, rub it on your hands like lotion. Then you want to rub it all over the top of these. One, this will help protect them from developing any sort of skin while you let them rest. A lot of times I'll make these the day before, wrap it, and put it in my fridge until the next day. Then I'll pull them out and start making my tortillas.
Have you found any significant difference by doing that? No.
No. It's just a time-saving thing.
Honestly, once you bring them out of the refrigerator, you bring them up to room temperature?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. For me, I have access to a warmer, so I'll throw them in a warmer, so it speeds up. But it will take about a couple hours for them to come to about room temp. Alright, so the dough's rested for 30 minutes. Now we're ready to use the TMG tortilla press. Put them on here. You hear that squeal? We're pretty good right there. Then we'll throw them on a flat top. It's about 300 degrees. We'll let them cook there. The first cook, you want light brown, if any brown.
Would this be considered the cook, or you're saying this is the first cook? This is just pressing them?
This is just pressing. So flour tortillas have gluten in them. So if you were to roll them by hand, you would actually need to roll them larger than you actually want them, because as soon as you pick it up off the table, it's going to contract back. So when you use a heated press, it does not allow that to contract back, because it's cooking and pressing at the same time. So I push it here to get the size I want, then I move it to the actual griddle to actually cook it. And these don't take long at all. You don't want dark brown on them, and you can continuously flip these. It's not something you just leave alone. The bubbles are a good indication, but if you don't get bubbles, it doesn't mean they're right or wrong. I actually don't like the big bubble in the middle, because I was just talking to Neil that they don't cook as even. But these cook literally within a minute or so. Then I'll put them on a rack to cool. Then we just keep making more. So this is a taco for me. So when I slice a brisket, I'll put a piece of brisket here, some cojita cheese, some avocado salsa verde I make, and pickled red onions. It's on the menu every time I'm out. That is a staple. As a chef, I always try to think of ideas how to use every ingredient I have. So that also means the fat from the brisket.
Just me get some.
Good. Is that smoked fat?
Very well could be. It's whatever I have in the fridge, honestly.
So the texture is definitely more tender than mine.
Yeah, so also people have asked me, like, could I put like herbs in your tortillas or whatever? You can, for sure. I think the most flavor would be from the fat. So if you were to like confit some garlic, you could use with tallow. You could use that garlic tallow for the tortillas. Or if you confit something like, I like confiting like, say, tomatoes in beef tallow, you could do it with garlic and aromatics and then reuse that oil for tortillas. So it's just a vehicle of flavor in your tortillas. All right, so after we cooked all the tortillas, they have cooled off. I like to stack them like this, then I'll put them in a Ziploc bag, and you can freeze them or put them in your fridge until you're ready to cook them. So we're just gonna stack these up. And we'll put them in the cooler for service.
So that's how you get schooled with beef tallow homemade tortillas. Marcus, I appreciate your time. I'm going to take your same recipe.
Same recipe.
We're going to feature it on our channels, and we will be doing exactly what you just told me to do. Hopefully my success is better than what it's been before. But we love doing these things, and without your guys' support and pushing us to be better, we couldn't do it. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share with your friends. Peace.
We need to track down Marcus for his brisket tacos.
Salsa verde is where it's at.